Hi there. This is Joe Akers. I am the Director of Marketing here at AgentOwned Realty. And today we're going to do an introduction. This is part of our module. We're going to go through the marketing department, talk about the services that we provide, talk about some of the requirements, some of the guidelines in terms of accessing or receiving those services. And then hopefully we'll have a few tips and tricks that we can give you as well to make the job a lot easier. But let's go ahead and get into it, and we'll just kind of start with introducing the marketing department team. There are only 3 of us that are involved in the day-to-day operations of the marketing services that you guys are provided, and that's compared to the over 500 agents that we service. Again, my name is Joe Akers. I am the Director of Marketing. Jenna King-Lewis is the production lead, the copywriter, the copy editor. She also is kind of my right-hand person. I work now remotely in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Jenna actually is working directly in the office in the marketing department, and she runs the day-to-day operations. So she really kind of holds the fort down for us all. Alicia Valverde is our production assistant. She's one of the people who does all of your listed sold postcards and deals with that. Both of those ladies have skills that kind of far outreach what our current services are. So we're very lucky to have them, and we're looking forward to some of the services that we can provide you guys in the future. Marketing materials in general, and we're kind of talking a bit right now mostly about the physical printed materials that we offer. Those are subsidized by your agent-owned sister companies such as Prosperity, Alliance, Allstate, those companies. They do a lot to help out with reducing costs and keeping things less expensive or not expensive at all because they're free. Marketing material costs are paid by your offices. So each office, whether you order door hangers or you order postcards, you get those for free, but the marketing costs are paid by your office in general. But marketing materials, most are at no cost to you, the agent, and they're kind of covered by the sister companies and your marketing and your real estate offices. Some of the marketing materials that are available are listed here. There's a lot more than that, but the printed materials such as brochures, and we actually do not offer return address labels anymore. We do still provide those within the buyer's packets, which is also listed there. But we also do social media templates. We do online templates, and we'll discuss that a little bit more. We actually have an entire class for that as well. But those are some of the more digital offerings that we have, and we're kind of venturing more and more into the digital aspect of things and services to provide you. We also have agent-owned merchandise, which if you kind of want to buy swag for yourself or swag for your clients, that's available. And we also have exclusive client gifts, which are only available through agent-owned, and they're great things for you guys to offer your clients, such as wine bottle koozies and travel bags and things like that, which have exclusive designs offered just through us. So let's talk a little bit about the online templates. We have an entire other module that goes through that process and kind of talks about how to put those together. So it's sort of a step-by-step. But just kind of going over those a little bit, those are available to every agent. And if you go on the agent-owned website and go to the very bottom into the footer area, if you look for AOR marketing, that is accessible from any page on the website, and that will take you to the available online templates. They're easy to use. There's just a few steps. It does allow some flexibility in the design process. We do have our brand standards where we want to be consistent in our brand, but it does allow some flexibility. It actually typically provides a quicker turnaround time because if you're not placing the order, us putting it together, sending you a proof, seeing if everything's fine. If you put it together yourself and you're happy with it and send it in to us, all we really have to do, if there's no issues, if there's no edits that we have to make or request, we just download it and print it for you. So typically it's a lot faster than just placing an order. So if you're computer savvy, then that's maybe an option for you. And we frequently update those with new choices as time permits. One of the biggest things that we do at Agent Owned is direct mail marketing, and that is a lot of postcards, quite a bit. And we'll kind of talk about some of those numbers a little bit later in the class. But one of the main things that we do are just listed in just sold postcards. SOI postcards, your sphere of influence or your circle of influence, if you're familiar with that term, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later. farm postcards, and we'll talk about what that is as well. But for most of these, if under certain circumstances and there's certain requirements for each one of these, agents only pay for the bulk mail postage. And some of these postcard categories get credits for them, but we'll talk about that in more detail. Currently, the postage rates tend to go up every year in January at the first of the year. We just had a slight increase. And so for all 294 area codes, and that are all the area codes that are 29464, which is the Johnny Dodd's office, and 29483, 29485, anything with 294 is about 27 cents. Anything else outside of 294, such as anything in the state of South Carolina that's outside of 294, or Chicago, Illinois, or Seattle, Washington, those are going to be about 32 cents or so. So let's kind of go through each one of those, and we'll start with the listed sold cards. This is an automatic program for you agents. You don't have to do anything. If you have no special request, then for every agent who has a residential listing or sale, we will automatically create 75 postcards for you and mail those out to the surrounding address. You also get credit for 77 because we also do one for yourself and one for me or for the marketing department, because it helps us track a little bit. So if you say I didn't get one, and by the way, we send those postcards to you at your office, not at your home address. If you happen to say I haven't seen one yet, did you send it out? We'll check our records and our supply of them and say, oh yeah, well, we have ours, so we know that it went out. It's mailed to the surrounding addresses. We create, address, and mail for you automatically. You don't have to do a thing. This is actually paid for from Allstate's Wally Burbage and Associates. They pay the postage on all of those 77 postcards every time they go out. And we'll talk a little bit about numbers about how many of those have gone out in the past year in 2019. Your SOI postcards. Now, there's a difference between your SOI and your farm postcards, and we'll kind of talk about that. One of the easiest things is your sphere of influence are people you know. Those are your friends, your family, your past clients, anybody that you would invite to a party or would invite you to one you know by name. It's a great source of referrals. It's kind of the gold standard. It's your gold currency. These are the people that you really want to lean on when you're looking for someone or something to be done in terms of a marketing objective. This SOI list should be cultivated and well maintained. You want to get rid of the people who are divorced, deceased, moved out of the area, you no longer talk to, that sort of thing. But it's something that you want to make sure that you maintain yourself like it's gold, like it's currency. So your SOI postcards, you do get credit for those. Your office will pay 50% of the postage up to 300 cards. I don't remember exactly what the total credit for that is, but it's over $40 right now. But that is for 300 cards. Your office will pay 50% of that postage. Once it goes over 300 cards, you're going to be responsible for 100% of that. So you get $40-ish or so credit, and then the rest of that is going to be up to you. That 50% credit from your office is good for one mailing per month. You can mail your SOI 7 days a week if you want to, but we will give you credit. Your office will give you that 50% credit for one of those mailings. You can choose from a monthly marketing creation. Every month within the marketing department, I create something unique that's related to the area, to the season, to the holiday, something along those lines. And I also try to make sure that we have variations on those based on the office locations. We have offices in Anderson, which is very close to Georgia. We have offices in Manning and Sumter. You may be from there. You may be watching it from these offices. And then we have a lot of our offices are in the Charleston metro area. But different things happen in different places. But we try to put something together that's very unique. And we always try to look at it as provide something of value that the potential lead or your sphere of influence will want to keep on their fridge and reference on a multiple basis. And we have your face and your contact information on the front of each one of those postcards. So it's a great way to stay top of mind. And it's also a great way to make sure that people know who it is that's provided them that great piece of information. So you can choose that. You can choose something else that you might want to send. We also offer monthly events. That is a constant. It happens every month. And we do have some recipes that just a few people use. We have that designs kind of set up so it almost looks like a recipe card. So it's almost like a collectible. It helps you stay in touch and top of mind with your referral network, as I mentioned before. All you have to do to participate in that is you create your sphere of influence list and you share with us, marketing@agentowned.com, and we take care of the rest. One side note, if you have current resident on your SOI, that is not your SOI. It is not your sphere of influence because you don't know who that is. You just know the address. So keep it with your friends, family, past clients, people you know by name, and vice versa. So farm postcards, how does that differ from your SOI? These are people you want to know. Think of it as people that you want to transfer over to your sphere of influence. You want to be a lead. You want to be a potential client. This list is going to be addresses in an area that you want to target, that you might want to be, just get familiar with and people know your name. And it's something to consider marketing in the long term. It's not something that you're going to have a one and done, or it's something that you're going to send a postcard mailer out to and you're going to get the rest of your business for the year. But like I said, again, these are leads you want to move to your sphere of influence. And you are responsible for providing that list to marketing. We do not pull that list for you. The only list that we pull are going to be your listed sold cards. And a side note for your just listed, just sold, can you send to more than 75? Absolutely. You need to do that well in advance and notify us, and you would provide that list if you're you have a certain list that you want to send it to. If you provide that information to us in advance to say, in general, I always want to send out 100 or I want to send out 75 extra from my 75, we will put that in your records and we will always pull that number of addresses and you'll be charged for the difference. But you have to let us know. And a side note in terms of the speed at which we work, if you want to make any changes, if you want to add extras, you need to provide that to us within 24 hours before the change happens in MLS. So before that listing goes live or before that sale closes, we need to know that information because we pull a hot sheet every day that lists all of the listing and sales that we've had within the company. Most of the time, by the end of the day when we leave, those are already processed. So you need to kind of be on the ball and get that into us. In terms of the farm postcards, you are responsible for 100% of that postage. There's a wide variety of choices in the marketing catalog, or you can create your own with the online templates, but there's a lot to choose from there. Just think of them as used for generating leads within an area that you're farming, and they're used as part of the marketing funnel. Now, there's going to be a video class that's created, and it might, if you're listening to this or watching this in the future, it's already created, but it kind of goes over the marketing funnel so you can understand what that means. So as I said before, we're going to kind of talk about numbers. So last year, we almost hit 600,000 postcards that we processed and mailed for the agents at AgentOwned Realty. The total of just listed sold cards, 286, 183, and the number of SOI cards that we sent last year was 132,413. So it was a lot of postcards that we process, and that costs a lot of money, and the postage costs a lot of money, but Wally Burbage at Allstate paid for over $70,000 worth of postage for that, for all of you. So it's a big benefit that is offered to you at a very little cost. So placing orders with marketing. There's a few things to keep in mind when you do this to make everything run very smoothly. All marketing requests you should submit to your office admin. And if you don't know, ask your mentor or ask a fellow agent who your office admin is. They should have a pretty good idea of what is possible, what is available, and how things should be done. So what this does, it's a filter, it's a funnel. It helps to solve any issues that may arise with your order before it even hits our email inbox. And it filters things through them. So it kind of helps things run a lot smoothly than just directly emailing us. So I highly recommend that you get with your office admin and discuss your order with them, and they'll help you get it submitted properly. If you are supplying an address list, use the template in Google Drive. You can provide us a Microsoft Excel or a CSV file, that is fine. But you need, for any of these, when you put your list together, you need the zip codes to be in a separate column. It's a very important way that we process this stuff for you. But those are the ways that you can do it. I highly recommend doing Google Drive, and for the reason for that is that Google Drive, think of things as a sort of a triangle. Google Drive is at the top point. You and I are on the bottom 2 points, on the left and the right. If once you share that Google Drive file with us in marketing, any changes you make will be given to us and it'll be synced automatically. You don't have to send us an Excel spreadsheet every time. That change is almost to the second. So literally up to 5 seconds before I grab that list to process your order, you can make changes and we'll have those changes in hand without having to email files back and forth. Now, speaking in terms of Google Drive, let's jump over to Google Drive really quick and I'll show you where you can find that template, so make it a lot easier for you. So let's take a real quick look at the easiest way to find the Google Sheets template. So one of the easiest ways to do that is if you're using Google Chrome, which I highly recommend that you do because we are in the Google Drive environment, is as soon as you open your Google browser, the first thing that you should get by default is just the Google search bar. And up in the right hand corner, if you look up here, you're going to see this is your account. You need to make sure that you click on it and make sure that you're signed in to your agent-owned account. Everybody who is a new agent will get a G Drive account, and that'll provide you with email, provide you with all of the apps that are available with Google Drive. But once you've done that, if you go up here and you see the little we call the Rubik's Cube around here, click on that and you can move these things around, but you're going to want to find Drive. So you open the Google Chrome browser, look up in the top right hand side, you're going to see your account information, click on the Rubik's Cube and then click on Google Drive. Once you go to that, on the left hand side you're going to see a little information. One of them is going to be shared with me. So click on shared with me. This is going to be all of the files that other agents, admin, any of your onboarding things like that are going to be shared with you. As you can see, there's a lot that's shared with me, but as I go through here, I'm going to look, and then everyone is going to have info for all agents. It's this folder right here. It's called info for all agents. Double click on that. That's going to take you inside. And here's a wealth of information. You're probably going to hear this spoken about in some of the other classes, but there's a ton of information here that is pertinent to you and what you do on a daily basis to get your job done. So once you're in here, you'll be able to feel free to look around. There's the images folder is going to have various logos that you're going to be able to use, all the appropriate agent-owned logos that are the correct ones to use. And as you can see up here, you can navigate back and forth by using what these are called breadcrumbs. So you could go back to the shared with me, but we're going to go to info for all agents. Excuse me, I got a frog in my throat. And then you're going to look at marketing. Double click on marketing, and then here's going to be a bunch of different things that are available to you here in the marketing. There's business card order forms. You really don't have to use a lot of these order forms anymore because you order straight through your office admin. But one of the other things that you have is one, and you're going to get links to these at the end of this class. But you got the AOR brand standards manual. That's going to be something that you go through and take a look at. But what we're after right now is this SOI and farm address template. You double click on that, and that's going to give you the format that we want things to come in. You can add anything else that you want to in these columns. You can add, date you contacted them, what their nickname is, their favorite lunch or something like that. But these columns here are the most important things that we need to have when you submit that information to us. So as you can see here, Liz S. has kindly made it very obvious that you do not fill out the information here. You're going to want to make a copy. You're going to name this. Don't just say copy of SOI, because when you submit that, I have no idea who that's for. So what you're going to do is you're going to say Joe's SOI list, something to that effect. Put your name in there. Even better, because there might be more than one Joe, put Joe Akers, SOI list. That way, when you submit it, we know exactly where to record that and keep track of that. Then you'll hit OK, and it's going to make a copy in your file. Now, what you can do here, and I highly recommend it, if you have somewhere that you would like to place this, you can click on folder and you can navigate in your Google account to wherever you would like to place it, and then you will select that. And that's going to place it where you can easily find it. Otherwise, it's just going to place it into the main area of your Google account, which is fine, and then you can move it later. But once you hit OK, that's going to make that copy for you, and then you can start to fill this out. You would just basically delete these two things, right-click, and then you would delete that row, and then you have a clean and ready to rock and roll organized SOI or farm address template to fill out and submit to us. Okay, now that we're back, hopefully that was helpful in terms of showing you how to use Google Drive to access that Google spreadsheet template. So a few other things in terms of placing orders. Unfortunately, I think that we do a fantastic job in the design department in the marketing, but we do not provide custom design services for individual agents. It's just not possible. There's over 500 agents. Even if it took only 30 minutes, which typically it does not take 30 minutes, I've been a designer for well over 13 years and nothing takes 13 minutes. But just using that conservative number, that's 250 hours that it would take us to service all 500 agents. So we just can't do that. We try to provide as many resources and things available to you as possible that you can use to solve any sort of marketing objective that you're trying to achieve, but we just can't do it. So that being said, the catalog and the online templates provide us a base for what we use. So you place that order, we put your information in there, we provide you a proof, and then we move forward with that order. This just allows us efficiency and a quick turnaround to get those things out to you. In the past, before I was here, I've heard stories about somebody having an open house and placing an order, and the process was so slow because they had something custom that they wanted, they didn't get it until 2 weeks after the open house. That's just not how we run things here. So we hope that you'll be able to use those and use them effectively. Now, if you cannot find something that we offer to you that will solve your problems or provide what you need, you may design your own materials. You may hire someone to design your own materials, but they must follow the AOR branding guidelines. Before I came, there were no branding guidelines, so things were all over the place, and we want to make Agent-Owned a very strong and recognizable brand. That's why we have branding guidelines now for the first time in about 27 years. So we'll talk about where you can find those as well. Speaking of you designing or hiring someone to design something specifically for you, we will produce the marketing materials you create or that are created by third parties, other than the Agent-Owned marketing department, only if the following guidelines are followed. And now you'll be able to find these in the back of the brand standards manual as well. So just by law, you have to indicate the brokerage that you represent. If you're indicating the brokerage you represent, you have to use the Agent-Owned logo. Once you start using the Agent-Owned logo, you need to follow the brand standards. And you can find all that information. The approved fonts and the color palette that are found within the brand standards manual are preferred. If you're providing files to us, they must be in print-ready format, which means we don't have to manipulate them or do anything in order to print them. If you're specifically looking for a brochure or a door hanger or something like that, we will let you know specifically what those sizes are, but no irregular dimensions. We're not going to custom cut anything for you in stars or the shape of houses. We do 8.5 by 11 for flyers and 9 by 6 for our regular postcard mailings. So provide those print ready. They need to be in a PDF format, preferably, because that is the highest resolution that we can print with. If you provide us a JPEG, a PNG, or GIF, and you're dead set on us using that to print, we'll do it, but you're probably not going to get the print quality that you're expecting. So please provide us everything in PDF format, high resolution. No full bleeds. We need at least a 1/4 inch margin around each side. We can't guarantee the final print quality of something provided to us outside of what we do, so make sure those PDFs are high resolution for the best results. So, and then also items that are created with the intent to mail them, they may have additional requirements, so you just need to check in with us or with your office admin. Turnaround times. So, as I mentioned before we kind of created our team that works there now, there were a lot of issues with turnaround times. Things took a very long time to get to you. That is not the case anymore. You can ask around. We are fairly fast. We're pretty darn efficient. So planning ahead is your friend. While we can get things to you quickly, expecting a same-day delivery is a really bad idea because it probably just won't happen. And if you plan ahead, you're going to get it well before you need it. Be thoughtful and intentional when planning your marketing initiative. So know what you want to do, when you want to do it, and plan for when those materials need to be ready. Something we think a lot is lack of preparation on your part does not constitute an emergency on ours. Now, if you run into issues, we will try to help you as much as we can, but to expect anything to be turned around within minutes, hours, or within the day is just not fair to us, and it's harder for us to do with other folks who've planned well enough ahead. So just plan. Average turnaround times to expect. This is a pretty good list to follow. 3 to 4 days on most materials, usually a lot faster than that. Postcard mailings, we only deliver to the post office for mailings every Friday. So if you have an event happening that weekend, it's not going to arrive most likely. So you need to plan accordingly. Large volume orders, something that you've approved with your broker in charge that is well over 500 pieces, that may take a few more days just simply because it takes a lot of time to print that many. And all turnaround times are typically quicker. Waste. We print and work with a lot of paper, so it is something that we think about a lot in terms of the waste. We recycle everything. We put a lot of recycling, and we do everything we can to adjust our sizes and things like that we print so that we don't have as much waste. But you also can help play a part in that as well. We offer a large variety of stuff free of charge, but we'd like you to consider a few things when placing your order. Only order what you'll reasonably use. Just because it's free doesn't mean you should order 1,000 of them and then have 800 of them left over that just get thrown away. Order a small amount because you can always order more. Your office pays the material cost. That's something to keep in mind. We do have a few material limits that are things that are ordered frequently and we know get wasted. So flyers, you get 25 per event. Now, if you start to run low, you can order more. If you really are dead set on having 100 of them, you can talk with your broker in charge and get approval that way. Door hangers are 100 per event. Postcard handouts, which is different from postcard mailings. Postcard handouts are going to be a little bit smaller. We don't put the postal permit on there. It's 50 per event. So marketing costs, even though your office pays for those, that payment, that cost at the end of the year, it affects your overall profits in your office and in turn your agent-owned profit sharing. There's a couple times a year that you guys will get some payouts for profit and things like that. But if you guys are ordering thousands of things and then only using a little bit of it, it's wasteful. And obviously that's going to result in a change in the bottom line. So we want to try to curb that as much as possible and put more money in your pockets, actually. So that's pretty much it for everything. Some of the important links that you guys can write down or visit. There's a thing for info for all agents, and we probably went through that a little bit when we talked about the Google Sheets template. Your AOR marketing catalog, which is updated frequently. We updated it just a few days before I recorded this video. So those are all of the items that are currently available. If you don't see it, it's not available. So we're not going to just make something if you request it, but we do like requests. We do like feedback. So feel free to submit those. And if it's something that will work across the board for all agents, you'll probably see it eventually. But the AOR marketing catalog is what you find everything that's currently available. And in our next class for online templates, we'll show you where you can find those. They're two different things. And then there's also the brand standards manual. That's how we protect the agent-owned brand and help keep it strong and growing. So that's something for you to view. All right. Well, thanks very much for listening to this. You can always email me if you have questions at joe.akers@agentowned.com. And let's go on to the next video. Thanks.